Hi, I'm Hainan with Hainan's Ear Tips, where I bring you tips and tricks about better hearing with or without hearing aids. Today, I want to tell you a little bit about what I tell my patients when they come in to start a trial with hearing aids. Maybe they've committed to buying new hearing aids and starting the hearing loss treatment process, or they're just doing what we call our hearing aid test drive, where they're trialing some different products to see how much it's going to help them and to find out what is the best product for them. So when somebody's getting started with hearing aids, well, first of all, I congratulate you for taking that step. It takes a lot of people, many people, a long time to be willing to take that step. It might have been cost, stigma, just unaware that they needed to, so on and so forth. But for whatever reason, they've decided to get started with at least trying. And so I bring them in. I've got some products that I think will be a good fit for them and work well for them. And I tell them, now before we go any further, I just need to describe to you what we're doing here. Number one, what you need to know about hearing aids is they are not fixing your ears. They're helping the hearing that you have. And the reason that this is important is because that's exactly what's happening. The ears are like sensors. We really hear with the brain, but the ears are like sensors that detect sound. And 9 times out of 10, the hearing loss that a person has cannot be fixed medically. That's why they're considering hearing aids. And yet, it's important to emphasize that hearing aids do not fix the ears. And really, that's sort of a long way of saying that hearing aids make hearing better, but not perfect. The ear nerve has been damaged, and there's strange phenomena where there's certain sounds you don't hear, but other sounds that you get overly irritated by, like really loud sound, for example, and so on. So part of what's going on here is, I tell people, you have a hearing loss that's causing you some problems. But in most cases, it didn't start yesterday. It's been something you've been living with for months, years, maybe even decades, and it's your normal. It's causing you problems, but it's your normal. When we put hearing aids on, help you hear a whole lot more sound than you normally hear, it is not normal. It can sound unnatural, it can sound echoey, it can sound like your voice is on a recording or a microphone. And I want people to know that before I put them on, because I don't want it to be a complete surprise. The hearing aids don't make the sound perfect, they make it different. And really, we have a process that we work people through to help define or help them experience a new normal. Because ultimately, they have to be comfortable, they have to feel comfortable, they have to sound comfortable, but we are having to help them learn a new normal. So that may not sound like positive news, that may almost sound disappointing. But the fact is, the hearing loss is depriving your brain of a lot of sound. Hearing aids help you get a lot of that sound back. But again, in the beginning, it's not normal sounding. So, what do we need to do? What do you need to do as part of this process? Well, the step one was simply being aware of this reality, because having that understanding will help you to be more patient with the process of rehabilitating your brain to hearing a new normal. So in my clinic, I tell people, we're going to start with something I think maybe is the best or just worth starting with as step one. And I need you to do 2 things. Wear them as much as you can, but take breaks if you need to. I always give that little tidbit about taking breaks, because sometimes people go home and it's so different, it's so unnatural, so abnormal sounding, that if you're not aware of this counsel and you're not aware of this expectation, it's very easy to get frustrated and just say, oh, forget this, these are useless, these are no good, and throw them away. I'd rather people not throw them away, but throw the idea away, right? I'd rather people take a pause, take the hearing aids off, because for some people, it can sound really tiring hearing a lot more sound than they're used to hearing. It's like going into a noisy place and you're just getting bombarded. and you want to just get out and get some quiet and have a break. So I'd rather my patients, they take a break, but keep putting them back on. Use them in the quieter, easier places. Don't go to the noisiest, busiest restaurant just after you've been fitted with hearing aids. Or maybe do, but at least have the idea in mind, this may be far from perfect. So wear them as much as you can, because that gives your brain as much time as possible to get used to the sound. And when I say as much as you can, I mean your waking hours. You're not going to wear them when you're sleeping, because it's not comfortable to have something in or around your ear when you're laying in bed. And if you're doing something really wet, like swimming or bathing, or heavy perspiration because you're working out or something like that, there's a few circumstances where it's best not to wear hearing aids. But by and large, wear them as much as you can during your waking hours. The people that wear them the most are usually the happiest with them. So that's number one. Number two, take as much note of the experience as you can. The more you tell me as a professional in my clinic, or whoever your provider is, about your experience. I always tell people, tell me the good, the bad, the different, because a lot of things will sound different. Alerts and alarms, like in your car, your turn signals, the microwave bells, all these kinds of things are going to be kind of startling and surprising. Running water, some people say with hearing aids for the first bit, sounds like the Niagara Falls. Plastic bags and so on can sound like breaking glass. Rubbing scratchy jackets sounds like rubbing sandpaper. That's all normal to begin with. So just take note of all these differences. And I always tell people, tell me as much as you can. I want to hear where they're helpful. I want to hear where they're not helpful. I want to hear where you're excited and where you're still frustrated, because it helps me to make better recommendations for different products. In our clinic, we let people try different products and compare. It helps me understand what adjustments might be best for fine-tuning them to your way of listening and hearing. And it helps me to give you better advice. So getting started with hearing aids really boils down to having a realistic expectation about how hearing aids will help you hear better, not perfectly, and how it's really a rehabilitative process that you and your hearing care professional work together on to help develop a new normal for your brain's way of hearing and listening.